Once upon a time, Chris called Dan and said, "I'm having an idea." When Dan got over his initial shock and horror, he agreed to hear Chris out. Suddenly, a podcast was born, and somehow I was suckered into recording the intro to give them a little bit of legitimacy. And so, here we are. Welcome to the Dan and Chris Save the World podcast.
The Dan and Chris podcast has been fortified with 6 essential vitamins and minerals. Please use only as directed.
Be careful operating heavy machinery while listening to this podcast. If you are pregnant or may become pregnant, please consult a physician before listening to this podcast.
No animals were harmed in the creation of this podcast. For best results, open your mind and smile while listening. Continued use of this podcast has been known to cause hilarity in certain individuals.
Proceed at your own risk. We're doing the thing because the thing that we're going to do is the thing that we're doing, so we're going to do the thing that we're going to do. Right?
No, I've got nothing.
Okay, good. All right, we're done.
It's do the thing you do when you do the thing that you do, or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. But what if you've done the thing that you're going to do?
I don't. Okay, now you just got me all twisted around at this moment.
What if you have been doing the thing you want to have done, and it's going to be past? What if you're in like the past, present, future tense, and yeah.
Then Chuck Norris dies. I don't know.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Hysteria. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Let's start with that. Has the noise subsided at your home?
For now, they didn't quite finish. I think they got most of the roof done. But there's definitely some areas they done. They cleaned up. At least they got most of the stuff cleaned up overnight. Tonight, because they were working into the dark tonight.
Oh wow!
I'm getting my roof done, everybody. In case you're curious, my roof was getting. So they tore it off in the in the 10-degree weather. They tore off the roof, and today was actually above freezing, so it wasn't as bad for them, I guess. But they're also working too, so they're not standing still in this cold. Still, it's cold. But
yeah, it's been brisk.
Yeah. So when the guy said, maybe they might be able to do it in 2 days, but not quite 2 days. They got the main part of the roof done. It looks like, I think. I think they had some touch ups. There's the roof over our morning room and maybe a couple of small sections they might have to do too. But it was loud today. Let me tell you.
Oh, I can imagine.
Because I worked on the second floor of my house, and guess what's closer to the roof?
Yeah,
the second floor.
Well, it's like I said the other day too. You have a very modern house, so it's a simple frame construction. You probably have trusses under the roof, right? So that truss is going to take that vibration, and instead of it being all like solidified in one or two rafters, that truss is going to send it right down into the frame, and so that's going to you're going to have each nail blast is going to reverberate through most of the house.
It's going to share the load.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's been a fun couple of days.
I can imagine.
Hopefully it stays okay enough tomorrow for them to finish. So
I
think the weather report looks okay for that. So so that's been good. So nice having a new roof. So hopefully it'll be good for quite a while.
Okay.
That's all I got. I'm done. No,
that's it. That's your entire update.
Yeah. What's up with you?
Not much. It work for the past 2 or 3 years, I have been the go-to guy or one of the go-to guys for my boss, to help cover things when somebody's out, when somebody's missing, when somebody's sick or something like that. Typically me and maybe 1 or 2 other people have been covering some missing appointments. But in the past few months, it has just ramped up. There's supposed to be 7 inspectors in the Northwest Quadrant. Right now, there are 4. Well, 4.5, because the new guy is starting to train up finally, and that is taking some of the load off of everything for us, which is great. But still, I'm going to be real honest. I'm burning out. It's getting tougher and tougher because I don't know where I'm going to be at any given moment in time. There are appointments that apparently, according to most people, should not actually have been on my calendar anymore because they should have been distributed differently. But I don't even know to ask because I'm just so used to covering things.
Just whatever is there, you go to.
I just do it just to try to help out,
Right.
I told my boss the tale a long time ago. when I was first joining the workforce. My grandfather, said, "Hey, there's going to be your job description, and then there's going to be what the team needs, and sometimes those two things don't mix. But if you have the ability to do more, then you show them you're part of the team, and that'll make sure that you're valuable. And so if they ask you to do something and you can do it, just do it,
Right.
right?
And that's
So
kind of
that's
what I
been
did. Yeah, I grew up kind of that too. You do what you want to do. You do what you
yeah,
need to do if you can do it.
uh-huh. And so with that all being all said, it's just whenever they send me something, I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been detrimental to my sanity
Yeah.
in the overall, because it's just like now I just like last week 2 days in a row I didn't even see my own work zone.
So yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, oh crap, well, what are you going to do about this case? I didn't even know that case existed until 5 minutes ago. Stuff like that has been happening.
Yeah.
So
Well, as long as your boss knows what's going on,
yes,
that's the important thing.
yeah,
and
he's been
everything.
very understanding of all of us. He's been very supportive. My boss is pretty cool. He and I know we butt heads, and there are times where he's just an ultimate micromanager, but really in the overall, he is very detail oriented,
Mm-hmm.
and he's made me a better inspector. I know that for sure.
Well, good.
So
That's what you want. Yeah. Someone who's
exactly.
and yeah, it's the important thing. As long as your boss knows what's going on, then that's fine. I mean, not fine that you're overworked, but it's fine that you're, if your stuff's maybe not, you're not paying as much attention to your own area because you're getting swept into other areas.
Right. I mean, I'm exhausted. Like I
Yeah.
said, I come home at night and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
can
like,
relate because
wow.
I mean this year in my job it's just been nonstop. Meetings and it's crazy because I don't have time to do what I consider actual work.
Uh-huh.
Because I've been in meetings like, whoa, close up, Chris. I've been in meetings like most days, and it's mentally wearing because I have to switch topics all the time, and the good and bad about being a go-to guy is that everyone goes to you.
Yeah.
It's like, I hear often, I need Dan's help, and I need Dan's help, and it's like, it's like, okay, I need Dan's help too. So I don't know. You guys have to wait in line, so I don't know. No, but I like being that I can help everybody or a lot of people, but it is wearing too because it's like I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing every day, kind of thing. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's similar, but similar but different. And your odd job is obviously a lot different than mine, and a lot more, stuff going on and everything. So,
But in what's today, the 1st of February,
mm-hmm.
in 15 days, almost 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, I'm celebrating my 12th anniversary working for the city.
Wow! Congratulations!
Thank you. As a point of order, the little the sound bars underneath at the bottom, the one that shows like the scale of when we're talking and whatnot, those have been flatlined for both of us the entire time we've been recording. I don't know if that means anything to you.
I see stuff for you, and mine is very small, which is funny because I always think that you're loud and I'm not, and I definitely see you volume,
Okay.
your volume. Mine is quiet apparently, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, as always, we're very good at that.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff there, so it's that I can see.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah.
Well, that's all
So,
that matters, I suppose, in the long run.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're both working, both doing good. It's 2022. We're a month in already.
We're getting some
Cool.
interesting ideas brewing. I heard about what you and Ann were up to earlier tonight.
Yes, and
I'm very excited about that.
Talk more about it. And I can't say anything on this too specific because it is early in the planning stages. But this is another Mighty Monkey event, which I think could be a lot of fun if we can do it right. Which I think we can because my brain is working, and I hope everybody's brain is working on this as far as what we can do and how to organize it. And so,
I've already been writing down some ideas, some general notes on I know what my part's going to be in this. I know I'm going to be asked to do. So I'm already starting to write down some basic ideas. Now, let's be very clear. This is a non-convention event. This is a separate event.
put on by Mighty Monkey Corporation, but it's not a convention.
Right.
So it's going to be a fun one night event.
Entertainment experience.
Yes. So
I'm so excited. This is going to be so cool.
And assuming that we can actually make it happen, because we got to make sure we can make it happen. I think this will be a fun thing that maybe we can a start of something that we can continue on. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say about that right now. On audio, I'm gonna say on camera.
And you and I are going to start working on creating a more of a TikTok and Instagram type of presence for Dan and Chris Save the World.
Yes.
So we're going to be expanding on this particular.
This our concept. We're trying to expand our audience, just trying to deliver it in a different way, make it more fun, make it more up with the times here, and for everyone like the short attention span theater there, so we will be happy to oblige to that and see what we come up with, and hopefully we have some fun and entertaining content and maybe learn a couple things on the way. Who knows?
Yep.
But as long as you're having fun and being entertained, then we'll slip in some stuff which you will learn without knowing it. Secret learning.
Secret learning.
Stealth learning. Oh my gosh, I know something after watching that TikTok. What happened? It has been quite a time, let me tell you.
It sounds it.
Oh my gosh, I'm not having a mental breakdown, but I'm
close enough.
I'm just having a time. I had a CT scan yesterday.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It went as fun as CT scans are. So it's just a normal checkup, nothing to concerned about. Just my annual checkup, kind of thing. Make sure my oil levels filled and everything, and so I get that. So I'll know the results of that on Thursday, and then next week I got another colonoscopy. Again, just as a routine checkup there, because I always like things stuck up my butt. So
yeah, well,
I should not say that out loud. That does not sound good, does it?
See, here's the thing: with the tone of your voice, it's taken in good humor. However, if somebody was reading a transcript of the conversation, they'd be like, "Wait, what?"
I said it, then I think, "Wait a second, I didn't." But yes, I'm getting. If you do good for you, but it's uncomfortable for me. So
right.
Yeah. So yeah, getting that checked out just to make sure there's everything looks good. So yeah, I'm excited because I'm hitting the after this, then I don't have to get another one for another 3 years for the colonoscopies, and then I can go back to more of a 5-year schedule after that, as long as everything looks good. So
nice.
Yay for beating cancer.
See, that's awesome, dude. That is so awesome, though.
It can be done. And coming soon to somewhere near you. I'm hoping to write about my adventure too. So
yeah, you were telling me about that. You're up to what, 30,000 words? That's impressive, dude.
So I have a decent chunk of things. I have. I don't. You could call it, I guess, a first draft at this point. Maybe. I definitely want to go over it again and add some more stuff. And my intention is to kind of end it with these 2 last tests here. Not end this chapter of my life here, kind of thing. To conclude this chapter of my life,
right?
And hopefully coming back with I went through these tests and they're clean results, and I'm moving forward and everything. So I'm excited about that. And I had another person reach out to me on Facebook who's been reading my some of my posts and everything, and she starts chemo tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
the chemo that I hated. That starting that chemo tomorrow. So I said this was my experience with it. These are the list of the side effects, and this is recommend doing this and this. So it was nice being able to give her some. I was amazed, and she reached out to me. I have no idea who I never even asked her how she came across it, because I'm not friends with her. I don't know her.
She must have caught I'm wondering
somebody.
for somebody who caught your post and like, hey, my friend is going through this. Here, look at this guy.
Yeah, but she had reached out to me right after she had the surgery.
Uh-huh.
The first surgery there to get her ileostomy there.
Okay.
And I'm like, she's like, yeah, I'm going through, going through the same thing, and reading your stuff helped me get through this. I'm like, wow, it's
That's
just,
cool.
it's very humbling to hear that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And that was kind of part of why I wanted to kind of more write up my experience with this. It's not
Uh-huh.
going to be how everyone's is. If even if you have the same kind of cancer, it might be close, it might be different, or it depends how early or how late it's caught. But I just wanted to share my experience because I did kind of chronicle a lot with like the Facebook post and the TikToks and everything I did with it to kind of keep it along. So I did have a pretty relatively detailed chronicling of it as it happened.
Uh-huh.
So it's nice to be able to share those exact feelings I had at the time. So I'm excited. I'm hoping that this works as well as I hope it does. Because next I'm my first draft is almost done, so I'm waiting to finish these last couple tests. That I'm going to finish up, then I'm edit it up and then fluff it up and make it nice and pretty and hopefully it's good. So yeah, it's
Did we agree on a title for this book?
I know what I'm going to call it, but I'm going to wait till it's. I'm not going to. I'll wait on that. I'm not going to publicly say it yet, but.
So the stupid puns we came up with, we're moving away from those.
No, not entirely. No. Now, remember, you have to keep this a little lighthearted. It's a serious subject, but there has to be laughter. It surely is a very good medicine. It's the fact that my, one of the first things I got after surgery, was my fart buddy here.
Yeah.
So that's just indicative of, and it sits on my desk to this day, and I thank very much the friend who gave it to me.
Uh-huh.
And it helped raise my spirits and gave everybody a laugh who came into my hospital room, at least which was only the doctors and nurses because there were no visitors at the time. But
there you go.
So yeah, so I got to keep it a little lighthearted. It's just a lot of serious stuff in there, but it's me. The story is me, so it's yeah. So looking forward to that. So that's on the horizon too. So it's going to happen. I like I said, I got another day off of work coming up, and my intention is to finish, pretty much the first draft of that and start going through it and cleaning up some more. So yeah, it's good. So
that's exciting.
So that's all. That's all I got going. Nothing much.
What is it?
I could list off a few more things probably. Oh my gosh. There's some, and it's bugging me because, I got to start taking notes for this thing because there was some stuff that I thought of recently that I really wanted to talk about in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bugging the heck out of me that I can't remember what it was. It's like, this would be a perfect topic. I really want to do the podcast. I really want to talk about it on the podcast.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure it was something to do with politics or something going on in the world today because there's just so much scary crap going on.
Yeah.
But
God, it's tremendous lately.
And it's, we don't know how it's going to turn out,
No.
and we have no idea because it's so volatile. It's everybody's just on both sides is just going crazy. There's weird things happening all over. The old, the last guy there is still spewing weird stuff out there, and
he just doesn't know when to shut the hell up.
And he's kind of shooting himself in the foot, but he's still appeasing his main
base.
People there, and
there's people there who absolutely adore. They hang on every word he mentions, and the stuff that he says is just so scary. It's like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
it's
looking back at history, and there's so many similarities, and you almost got to be happy the guy is as old as he is.
yeah, it's got to
Yeah,
end somewhere. I'm hoping.
he we we as humans do have expiration dates, and I don't wish ill on anybody, but I'm hoping that he gets to a point where he realizes that I should just enjoy what time I have left.
He won't. He's not that type of personality. I'm
I
sorry to
know,
say.
but I could, I wish that upon him. I wish him to come across the realization that he just wants to enjoy the time he has left, enjoy his kids and grandkids and whatever he has, and not that he has, I don't
Well,
think he does enjoy
I
his
don't
kids.
see him as a personality that can do that because for
No.
him, it's about the competition. It's about
Mhm.
winning. It's about being, and he was denied something. He's the kind of personality that he's not used to hearing no.
Right. Even if it goes bankrupt, I'm still a billionaire. I'm still,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even if the no is what he wants to hear, like,
Hmm.
is there any way I can lose this? No. He's still going to want to have some reassurance because he's just such an inferiority complex
Hmm.
on top of everything else, which makes him that much more
Yeah.
dangerous in the overall opinion of mine.
And then and then on top of him, both parties, he's like anything they do, we're not, they're not counting on any of the party. What can we do because we have this number? What can we do? It's like there's almost no chance of compromise.
Nope.
Except for a lot of these bigger issues, and
Nope.
that's a scary part too, is that everybody is so, it's
They're
going to
all
be,
competition about it right now. It's just,
yeah.
you know, the turtle in the Senate is doing whatever he can to be as much of a roadblock as possible.
Hmm.
You know, and then you got the gargoyle on the other side in the red dress who just, she's just just shrills, and screaming at people, and it's like, oh God, get rid of them both, please.
Right, just retire.
It's like that quote from Clarence Darrow that I love so much, the orator of the early 1900s or late 1800s. I've never wished a man dead, but I've read some obituaries with great satisfaction.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm looking for like a thick stack of obituaries involving several people that are in our current government.
And I
I
hope they die
obviously
pretty
can't raise
well.
a hand to make any of that happen, but I'm willing to read when,
Mhm.
when the moment
I hope
happens.
it's peacefully of natural causes,
Yes,
but but still, if we need some change, we need
we
some,
do.
we need these
We really
people
do.
been there forever, need to get out.
But it's funny that the funny, quote unquote funny, not in a
Yeah,
ha
right.
ha. But there are some members of, Herr Cheeto, his side of the fence,
Hmm.
and the turtle there. They're young, great, the young blood, but the clinging to the insanity
Hmm.
it's just crazy. It's like,
It's
do you not
scary.
hear yourself?
It's scary that people are so, whatever that it is that makes them, just, are they purposely doing it? Are they truly doing it? Are they just doing it because, such, what's his, number 45 there had, still has that grasp? I don't know why they're doing it.
Uh
It's
huh.
why is it true belief on their part, or is it just politics? Is it just they're playing that game? Or,
Yeah.
they're, but all this, yeah, I mean, all this stuff, all these election laws that are being passed in the, the Republican states, and this and that, to, it's, what, our voting is becoming a farce. It's with all this stuff going on.
But that's the thing, is at a technical level, it has never been more secure. It has never been more
Mhm.
steadfast. But it's become a quote unquote farce because
Because
of
him,
the mantra, of the diatribe, of the rhetoric.
yeah,
If these people just shut up, and we would be able to see that the system is actually fairly intact and healthy, but we don't know what to trust anymore.
well,
And that
yeah,
was the
because of
goal.
him. Before the election even happens. If I don't win,
Undermine everything,
if
so I'm the only thing telling you the truth.
if I didn't win, the election was rigged.
Exactly.
I mean, how? Yeah, I mean, I was watching, I was watching a lot of TikTok, a lot of political ones come up. No person has ever done so much to harm our system here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just his constant rhetoric and the amount of just blind followers to it. They
Mm-hmm.
just believe anything. They where there's never been a shred of proof that there's been any mass stuff, but still, the election was stolen. I don't understand that.
No. Well, if he can undermine, then that's how he's going to win, because he can't
Hmm.
win with integrity. He
Hmm.
cannot win with policy because he's got nothing. He
Hmm.
has nothing in policy. He just has sound bites.
Yep.
And so with that being said, the only thing you can do is win through deceit.
Hmm.
And that's how he did it the first time.
Misdirection.
Misdirection.
Fake
He's a
news.
billionaire, but just you can't see the proof of it. He
Hmm.
tells you the truth, but you know
Yeah.
you can't see the proof of it.
Why does he fight so hard to hide his taxes and stuff?
Right. His
What
taxes and his
whatever.
documentation and the.
Why is that such a big fight that
Mm-hmm.
if he's on the up and up, why
Yeah.
can't you
If
show
he's
it?
on the up and up, bring it out. Let's see it.
Hmm.
Let's prove it.
Hmm.
Bring it to me.
Yeah, but people don't. I don't. Oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
it's so frustrating. I mean,
The whataboutism has just ramped up as well, I've noticed.
hmm.
The moment you point out like, for instance, well, if he's a billionaire, let's see the taxes. Well, what about Pelosi, who just made $30 million? I don't give a fuck about Pelosi.
Hmm.
I don't care. I don't like her either. I'm not going to defend her. What I
But
want
what
is
we
to
know
focus
about
on the
her.
question that I
Yeah.
asked.
Hmm.
Focus on the question that I asked. Don't misdirect. Well, what
Hmm.
about this guy? I don't care about that guy. That's not what I asked about. I asked
Hmm.
about this. You want to talk about that? The what about? Let's do that after that. Give me a straight
Hmm.
answer on my question first, and then we'll talk about what's next.
Misdirection. Yeah.
You know,
Try to deflect what you're trying to
deflect,
talk about.
deflect, deflect.
And that's what it is, and
You know,
very good about it. And oh my gosh, it's bizarre.
it is.
It is
And the
such a
fact that,
bizarre time.
I never expected to be living through history like this, especially
Hmm.
when I was studying history in school. I didn't expect to have to live through it like this.
Not
This is not
this
something I
kind of
anticipated.
history. No, not this kind of
You
history in
know,
our country.
when I was younger and I was looking at these situations that unfolded over the centuries before us, I was like, wow, look how far we've come. Wow, was I wrong?
Yeah, and yeah, it's it's you never agree with politicians and stuff, but I mean the approval rating of our politicians is so low
Yeah.
of everybody.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what Biden's at. I know his is not great.
Biden's not good. Biden's
No,
is in the 40s at the moment, I think. Let's find out. Hang on a second.
but
Congress
and
is even lower. Congress
the
for a long time was in single digits.
well, Congress is horrible. Well, Congress. I mean, yeah, the Congress is just they're so ineffectual. They're so childish. They play their childish games. And it's so we don't have adults there. We don't
No.
have people who I don't know. It's bizarre. It's all I can describe is it's just a bizarre time to be living through, and I hope we can survive. I hope we live long enough that we can see past the fallout of this.
Yeah.
Because who knows how long it's going to take to recover from all this.
Yeah.
To actually, I mean, are we going to recover? Are we going to get to some sort of normalcy again?
We can recover. We can.
Yeah, we can.
It's possible.
But
I mean,
when
even
and how?
Nazi Germany, it didn't become. It was only Nazi for like what 15, 20 years, really, in the overall. I mean, Hitler came to power in the early 30s, and then it was broken up in 45, 46. After World War II. So there's 15, 20 years.
Yeah, but that was a world war to stop that.
It took a world war to stop it, yes. And you'd hope that we've been more enlightened, but the long and the short of it is that we still have to look at what they did to recover from that. And they did. I mean, Germany is a bastion of democracy and economy. It's a
Yeah.
strong system. So we have to
hmm
say, okay, well, if they can do it, and they come from the deep dark pits of hell to where they are now, where for a long time Angela Merkel was considered, she had become the leader of the free world after
hmm
45 blew everything out the window.
So,
You
I
know,
mean, how much of it was external? How much of it was internal for them to recover, for Germany to?
I have to imagine that it was not as 50-50 balanced as one would think. They really had to, they took it upon themselves to rebuild themselves. I mean, what had happened is that, I mean, it was split in East Germany, West Germany, and then, of course, the
hmm
Soviets and the Berlin Wall and all that entertaining stuff. But the West Germans, they did receive support from Europe and from America. Um, and there was influences there, but they really had to do the work themselves.
Okay. Because I don't know too much of that history, but yeah, I'm just. What do we have to look forward to? I don't know. I hope
It's
not
going to be
that bad.
rough.
It is going
It's
to be
going to be
rough.
rough. I mean, especially, the DNC apparently has not learned a damn thing,
hmm
so, whoever they're putting up, and then, of course, Biden finally buckled and said, yeah, I'm planning on running for re-election. And there's nobody willing to challenge him on that, and it's looking like it's going to be a rematch of 2020 unless
Yeah.
the Justice Department and the courts and all of these district attorneys all across the Northeast are finally going to pull the trigger and go after, 45 there.
They've been talking about it for so long.
I mean, I get the delay. I get it because in a case like this,
They want to make sure it's
you
airtight.
make sure you have to get it right. You just
hmm
can't say, well, we've got 60% of the information, let's go.
hmm
Because you don't know what's hiding in that 40% you haven't pinned down,
Right.
right? Everything has to be methodical and systematic. And so here we are. We have been raised in the instant gratification generations.
hmm
Not so much our generation of the 70s and 80s, but everybody who's come behind us has give it to me now. Give me what I want, give it to me now. There's not a lot of patience,
Right.
So we see it as this is taking too long. When 30, 40 years from now, when our grandchildren are looking, when they're studying this in high school and in college and whatnot, and they're looking back at it, they're not going to feel how long this process has taken. They're going to see, okay, it took 18 months, 2 years, whatever the case may be, and they're going to kind of chalk it up to dates and times and whatever, move on.
Yeah. We're in the
They
middle of it, so we're
we're in the
living
middle
it,
of it, so we're
and
like,
we
well, why
want it to
can't they get
happen.
to it?
So yeah, it's like, come
You
on,
know,
do it now. I want it to be
I
done.
I want to see it. I want to see it
Yeah.
happen. I need to see it happen. Um, because it's as he roams free, it continues to get worse, and we have to acknowledge the fact that in a person, this is my personal opinion, in an idyllic situation, he has taken a task for it. He's taken to court. He goes on trial. He's found guilty. Everybody underneath him, boom. The kids, the works, the bar. Who was the Secretary of State? I can't think of that guy's name at the moment. Doesn't matter.
hmm
All these people, they all boom, 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 boom. They all find themselves behind bars, as in my opinion, and that's
hmm
just my opinion, they should. Okay.
hmm
There's still going to be a recovery time. After that, there will be appeals. There will be retrials. There will be arguments over sentencing. There will be arguments over this case, this case. There's going to be people saying, well, this was a drumhead jury. This was a fake trial. You're going to have the people who are you're going to have like the Proud Boy assholes out there who are going to be like, well, we're going to go rescue him from prison.
Mm.
I guarantee you there's going to be
Oh,
some sort of
geez.
militia that's going to show up at the gates of whatever hellhole they try to put him in,
Yeah, that sounds.
to
I didn't
bust him
think
out
about
and
that.
carry him
That's
off into
scary.
exile or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
There's going to be some weirdness, and it's going to go for a while.
But once the process is started, though, that might preclude at least, running for office, for example.
Hmm.
So at least,
And I
but
pray to God somebody who hates him does not take a shot at this man. Please, dear God, let justice be served in a normal,
don't let
correct,
him, don't let him be a martyr.
civilized fashion. I don't want anybody to turn his asshole into a martyr,
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
then we'll never get rid of him.
yeah. Let him
You know?
let him live his last days in a nice 6x6.
But no, you know he'll be in a house arrest in his penthouse over in Manhattan.
Something, but yeah.
You know,
we just need that guilty verdict.
Right?
We need that.
I mean,
but-
never. I'm sure people have never even considered what it would be like to put a former president, in jail.
Hmm.
I mean, that's got to be like, what the hell do we do? How do we do this? This is new territory.
Yeah,
Right?
but he's opened a lot of new territory though, so I guess it
really
kind of goes
has.
along with him. So it's
Yeah.
continuing on his tradition. He started a lot of this stuff, so let's continue it on. But on the plus side, he still does say stupid things that is going to alienate some people.
Some, not enough.
Not enough, but every little bit helps.
Right.
So,
somebody the other day was saying,
I need to pause this for a minute. The doorbell just rang.
Okay, you go to it.
Okay, that pause was brought to you by dumpsters in the driveway. Dumpsters in the driveway. When you got a lot of
dumpster in the driveway, you got to
when you have
everything.
A lot of crap to give away. To get rid of. Okay.
Your old roof is being given away for charity.
Yeah, charity to a landfill.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a jarring shift change here at this point because I got an email while we were on that little rant there of history making. About 4 years ago now, and I did an Ancestry or 23andMe, the genetic marking and whatnot, just to see where my background is. And they've spruced it up. They keep refining it because there was some very general percentages back when I got the first report, 4 or 5 years ago. But they have done a lot of work and they now have newer markers and everything. So strangely enough, I'm 97.3 European.
Okay.
97.3% European, 65% Southern European, so half Italian, as I knew because of my mom. And there's Greek and Balkan and broadly Southern European are like little percentages, but mainly Italian, 55% Italian. And then 27.1% Northwestern European, so French and German, British and Irish. Is in my bloodline. I did not know that. That's kind of cool. And then broadly Northwestern European, so I can assume like Belgian, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
And then let's see, 2.6% Western Asian and North African.
That's
interesting. And so that's like 2% of my bloodline comes from Caucasian, Mesopotamian, and Iranian. And then 0.6% broadly Northwest Asian. So Northern West Asian. I don't know what that really means. What does that mean? Let me see, because it's got like a map component here.
I
so like Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Azerbaijan. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. Syria, Lebanon. That's like a little small, insignificant percentage. But then right at the bottom, 0.1% trace ancestry. Okay, I am 0.1% sub-Saharan African.
0.1%.
Which but if you think about it, cradle of life, Africa, right? That's where a lot of science, a lot of anthropology points to the cradle of life being in Africa. That's where we started, and that's where we spread out from.
Right.
So
that's not surprising.
Yes. And so, to know that I can go all the way back to the cradle. Great. Okay, cool. That was expected. That's neat.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say something to the effect of a lot of white supremacists should be forced to take in the 23andMe and Ancestry.com DNA tracing and get a good look at where they actually really come from. That would be eye-opening. That would be amazing.
Yeah. I should do one of those. I should. My sister, I think, did it once. I know she did it with I know she did her dog, but I think she did herself too.
Tanya did Ancestry.com because she's been very upfront about the fact that she was adopted as a small child, and we did the legwork, and we have since located who her mother was. But now we were just talking about the other day. I'm like, are you interested in going after the other half of the equation? And she's like, I'm back and forth, wondering. We didn't actually find her mother. We found her mother's gravesite.
Oh, okay.
So her biological mother passed away back in the mid 90s or something like that.
Okay.
so that led to some emotions and some thinking and some discussions and whatnot. And I'm like, well, what about the other side of the equation? And we were talking about it, and I think she's contemplating it. So I know she did the 23andMe side, so she'll have Ancestry.com and 23andMe to work with on
Mhm.
charting. So it'll be interesting to see how that all fits together. She is very Gaelic. She is very British, Irish, a little bit of Scottish. It's
Nice.
like, I would be fascinated to see your ancestry, especially because your dad's side of the family being Jewish. There's a line that I'd love to trace and get to see the how it worked, how it all fit together.
Yeah, my sister did it.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see. If I have, I thought she forwarded it to me, but maybe I don't know how it is. But because I'd imagine I should be similar to my sisters.
Right. Give or take. You never know. It depends
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I'd assume I'm close to hers, but I don't have it right now. But I should. Yeah, I should do it just out of curiosity. Um, I'm curious. I'm kind of curious to see what it shows up, and I don't know if it really means anything in the big picture, but
Oh, you know me. I love history, right?
yeah.
And so this is just another form of studying history, is studying your own, history. And the thing I love about 23andMe is that when I first got my initial report, there are so many different charts and graphs, and it isn't just raw data. There's explanations and there's essays about how this all fits together and and if you get this particular genome pathway, this is what it could represent, and this is how
Mhm.
this all unfolded over 200,000 years. And I'm like, wow,
Okay.
it's just
Okay.
so
Okay.
cool.
This is for my sister, and I assume
Hmm.
I'm close to it. I don't think it's a big deal if I share my sister's.
Hmm.
So it's 33 Germanic Europe,
Hmm. Hmm.
20%, 27% Ireland,
Okay.
22% European Jewish,
Uh-huh.
6% England and Northwestern Europe, 6%
Nice.
6% Northern Italy,
Uh-huh. See,
4%
look at that, we're paisans. All right.
4% Scotland, 2% Sweden ethnicity. So that's my uncle. Oh, my uncle. My uncle. He's. Let me see. Oh, compared to my okay. My uncle. He's 2% Germanic, 4% Ireland, 25% Northern Italy, 3% England and Northwestern Europe, and 49% Scotland.
Wow.
So that's my uncle on my mom's side.
Uh-huh.
So what's this one? Oh, another uncle on my mom's side. It's similar, 37% Scotland. So they're brothers. They're a wide age range, but they're still similar
Mm-hmm.
makeups there. And then this one is my uncle on my dad's side. So this is 3% Germanic Europe, 32% Ireland, 50% European Jewish. This is my Jewish side of my family, and
Mm-hmm.
10% Scotland. So there's Scotland on both sides of the family there. Interesting. So that's just those are just a couple of charts she forwarded from hers, and then comparing it to a couple some uncles there.
Now I'm going to admit to something.
Okay.
There was an actual genuine reason why I brought this all up.
Okay.
One, mainly, I wanted to get off of who we were talking about previously, because it's annoying as hell.
Yeah.
It's just
It's it's
heartbreaking
it's
to
frustrating.
deal
Yeah.
with that. It's frustrating, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also that life lesson that we always lean on is, for everybody out there who is so America,
Mm-hmm.
everybody came from somewhere.
That's right.
You know, there is nobody who could be a pure American. There's nobody.
Nope.
Even the First Nations, the Native Americans, came to America. I mean, they came here long before we did. They were able to establish themselves and create nations before anybody else did,
What does their
right?
ancestry.com look like?
What's that?
What does their ancestry.com look like?
You know?
I don't know. That's curious. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We all,
But we all came from somewhere. Everybody's genetic pathway
except for
winds its way
possibly some
around the
Africans,
world.
except for possibly people from Africa.
Exactly. That one's pretty much close to the mark, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Although I'd be fascinated if like somebody in Nigeria, like their bloodline goes out to Asia and then comes back or something like that. That would be interesting.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's stuff out there on that. So I'm sure we could
Hmm.
just study at it. So if anybody knows a
Hmm.
lot about, this kind of stuff, let us know.
We'd love to talk to a geneticist or something along
It's
those
just
lines.
kind of,
There's
yeah.
that one teacher who's been talking about racism since the early 70s, 80s, Jane Elliott. Have you ever seen her in action?
No.
She is amazing. Amazing. She's the teacher who does these. I'm going to put racism in front of you. I'm going to put it in your face, and I'm going to make you think about it and deal with it and not look away from it. In one of her recent talks, she's sitting there on the stage. She's talking to the interviewer, and then she looks out to the audience and she goes, "Okay, everybody here, if you want to be treated like an African American is being treated in our modern society, raise your hand." Oh, you didn't hear me. When nobody raises their hand, she goes, "You apparently didn't hear me. If you want to be treated like an African American in the United States, raise your hand." And then she scolds the hell out of the entire room. This woman is badass. She holds nothing back. She will get in people's faces, and she's not mean spirited or aggressive about it. What she is just, here it is. I'm going to tell you the truth that you are not comfortable with, and I'm going to make you look at it. And she goes, so if you're not raising your hand, that means you're acknowledging that this is not a good thing. And by saying you don't want to be treated that way, but by just sitting there quietly, you're okay with it. And just nobody says a thing. Jane Elliott is this woman's name. I swear to God, she's got to be in her 80s by now. But the woman she's a force of nature, and she's brilliant. This is the teacher who back in the 70s or 80s, I can't remember I think it was 80s. She was on Donahue because she had made some waves.
Donahue.
Yeah, I know. There's some old school stuff. She had made some waves because as a school teacher, she was putting her grade school kids, and I think she was like teaching 4th, 6th graders. Okay, everybody with blue eyes, you're going to be given these scarves, and for the time that you're wearing these scarves, we are going to be excluding you from things. You are not welcome to be part of all the brown-eyed children.
Yeah.
You come on over here, and we're going to have story time, and we're going to watch TV, and I'm going to have cake for you. And all the blue-eyed children, you stay over there and you do your homework. And if you're not doing your homework and schoolwork, then you're going to get punished.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's these kids that are being taught discrimination right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
She took them out to the yard, and she's okay. We're going to run a race. Blue-eyed children, you have to step here to this line. Brown-eyed children, you come over here. And when I say go, the brown-eyed children can get started, and you can run to the finish line. The blue-eyed children, you have to wait. You have to wait your turn. And the one child's like, well, how am I supposed to even come close to winning? She goes, what do you mean? Don't you understand? You have to stand there anyway. It doesn't matter. And so these children got a hands-on, racism and discrimination and what it really could be like, shoved right in their faces, and it made an impact on several. Of course, the parents were starting like, "Oh no, you can't treat my child like that." Well, why?
There was a lesson. Yeah,
there's a lesson to be learned there. And I've heard comedians say it. I made the comment a moment ago. It would be great to take some of these DNA tests to a KKK rally. Or white supremacists, Proud Boys, whatever, and say, here, you guys take this and you tell me how pure you are after it's done.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Enlightenment. That's what's needed. Enlightenment.
Yeah, it's just hard to push it through those closed minds, though.
Oh, God, yeah.
So.
What you can only do, when it comes to dealing with a closed mind, is sometimes you just give up and you keep working on the open ones to keep inspiring the open-minded ones, which I think is the most necessary thing right now when you think about it, because the open-minded ones, we're worn out.
Yeah.
We're exhausted.
We need backup.
And right now, we've been supporting each other. We've been trying to take care of each other. We're trying to respect and help each other. My friend Robin and I were talking about it, just, dealing with, isolation and vaccinations and, just covering our tracks and making sure that everybody's being taken care of and not being exposed to COVID, stuff like that. But we're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody had not politicized this nonsense at the beginning,
Oh,
I wonder where we would be right now.
jeez, that would be. Yeah, who knows? I mean,
I
that's
wonder where we would be right now. And
if we could all work together to get this through. And there's always going to be that small population that
right,
doesn't want
the
to, but
anti-vaxxers would have stayed on the fringe.
yeah, but it would have been a fringe thing. It wouldn't have been
You
a
know,
political statement. Oh my gosh.
there
Mm,
was a lady I saw the TikTok today, and I wish I'd sent it to you because it just blew my mind. But I was in the process of trying to click a link for more information. I accidentally scrolled away from it and I couldn't get back to it.
mm-hmm.
But this was a God Squad level person who was all about God will protect you from COVID. Don't worry about it.
Oh, gee.
And she was trying to um, take the whole there is a microchip, the 5G is in the vaccine bullshit even further. She was trying to bring in quantum entanglement.
Whoa.
She was bringing in the term quantum entanglement.
Oh,
And she goes, you're going to be hearing about this a lot in the next few months to years. When you get that vaccine, it's just going to get in, it's going to start entangling with everything. And I'm like, wow. And the person who was posting the TikTok was just like standing there wide-eyed, staring, like you were like sharing that expression with you. Like, is this person really for real?
Oh my gosh. Quantum entanglement with COVID.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
the stupidity, it burns. So us, more open-minded folks, we're tired.
It is
We're
tiring.
exhausted at the moment because it
these
feels
other
like
people
it's
are
just a
loud.
constant assault.
Right. And they're loud and they don't listen. And I mean, I really do try to listen to other people. I really try to understand. I try, but yeah, like you said, I mean, I'm tired of it. I've tried for so long. I just don't, when 45 was first elected, I said, okay, I'm perfectly happy to give him a chance, but that did not last very long,
Mm-mm.
because I thought, I didn't like him, I didn't like him for, to begin with to get elected, but I thought, okay, I'm be open minded to give him a chance, but then he didn't give himself a chance.
Nope.
Except for his contingent there.
I mean,
But
as soon as he started lying about his inauguration audience,
it's just right off the bat.
right off
Boom.
the bat.
It's like, oh, but these people, yeah, I mean, conspiracy theories are mainstream.
That's the saddest thing.
Yeah,
That is absolutely the saddest thing is that conspiracy theories are now mainstream because we're just so tired we don't know what to trust anymore.
and everyone who's not conspiracy theorists and who are just like, we're tired. They don't listen. You can't. I don't know how to get the message to these people. How do they get these messages that this is real? These are real people dying. This is it's not just a game. It's vaccination isn't it's kind of big conspiracy. There's no microchips. This vaccine's been in development for decades. It's not a brand new thing. It's been in COVID. The coronavirus is not a new thing.
No.
This strain was a strain of it, but the
coronavirus
has been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so this miracle vaccine came out of nowhere. They were working on it for decades. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyways, happier thoughts.
We're all connected. That's the thing. We're all connected. We all come from the same cradle. It's taken us centuries and millennia to get here to where we are right now. There's a great meme that I saw a few years ago, and I use the phrase every so often. You are the result of 4 million years of evolution. It's time to start goddamn acting like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there might not have been an Adam and Eve like the Bible says, but there was a common area, and I think pretty much most normal scientists agree that, Africa is where, life basically, we evolved from.
Mm-hmm. We did. Evolution is real. Yeah. It is a thing. I mean, yes, there is a theory. The theory of evolution is how we understand the mechanisms of it and how it has affected animal, plant, and mineral throughout the course of the history of this planet, right? But you can't look at evolution and say, well, it's just an idea. God did it in 6 days. Sorry, fundamentalist, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
Where's your
You're wrong.
proof? Did God go through the effort of putting these bones that we can age millions of years old into the
Yeah.
ground? I mean, was he that kind of? And what was the purpose of these? What that if yeah, yeah. Um, I don't. Yeah, I don't get. Yeah. Anyways,
Science is real.
it is. James Webb Telescope. That's out there.
Yes, and it's in place. We
It
should
hit,
be
it
getting
hit,
the
it
first.
hit its parking orbit.
It's in its parking spot at the Lagrange point, which I think is astounding.
A million
Apparently,
miles
it's all
away.
fully deployed. It's all fully deployed. It's in, and they're getting good vibes off of it. Everything is coming back green light so far. We should be getting our first pictures of it from it in the next couple of weeks. I'm being told.
Oh, really? I thought we weren't getting anything until like June.
All right, let me see. Hang on a second. I think they just want to like do a couple of like test snapshots,
Okay.
like not really digging deep, but like just kind of like see what happens.
Okay, because I thought it wasn't fully operational, maybe until June, maybe or
Pictures
something.
from the Webb telescope.
But yeah, I'd imagine they got to be able to get something from it now.
So the Webb will likely be pointing at stars and seeing its first light 6 weeks before that, around mid-March.
Okay.
However, NASA says not to expect the first showpiece photos from the Webb telescope until 5 months after launch, once the commissioning period ends. So that'll be around mid to late May of 2022. So
yeah, but this is yeah. I mean, they say we should be able to see light from the Big Bang kind of thing.
That's
which is just
insane.
amazing.
That is awesome. This is so awesome.
There's a few TikTokers that I follow that are so excited.
I know. I love their enthusiasm. It's amazing.
And I love it too. It's an amazing. Fescon was getting deployed the day by day. It did this. It's at this point. It's it did these tests. This is deployed. And like, oh, it's amazing. This thing is a million miles away.
Yes.
And
I mean, they did it. They did this whole thing. There were so many points of failure that could have happened. It could have been this $10 billion, failure, this chunk of technology just floating out there in the nothingness with no chance of recovering it.
Right.
And they managed to, they did everything by the book, by the mark, and got it right to where it needs to be, and it settled it right into its orbit. And it's like, holy crap. That's inspiring to know that we are still capable of that level of technological feat.
So I have a question about this.
Yes.
So, I mean, a lot of that billions of dollars is on research for this.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't they have built just two and launched both of them? Because it wouldn't have cost, I think, in my head, comparatively, to build a second one using all the research they did for the first one wouldn't have been, you're not doubling the cost. But then you get twice the stuff out there. You can have two cameras out there doing twice the work.
Excellent question.
I was just kind of because a lot of
they build two James Webb telescopes.
In my head, it's just it might maybe add maybe a third to a half more of the cost, which is still a lot of money, but you'd get that much more benefit, and you have a backup too, because it's a million miles away. You can't send a space shuttle up to go fix this thing if something goes wrong. I don't know. It's just one of those questions I had. Because I think about those kind of things.
I'm looking to see if there's an article about that. There's Quora.com, which is basically like a Reddit discussion piece. Why did NASA only build one James Webb Space Telescope? Facilities and R&D make up most of the cost, so building a second one would have cost a fraction of the first.
Okay.
But would have allowed much more science to be investigated.
Right. You said there's already like years of waiting list to use it.
The first response was actually penned January 6, 2022 by Jim Moore, whose profile says he's a physicist, mathematician, and an adjunct professor. And his reply is, well, I think we should have built 4 of them, one for each Lagrange point, L2, L4, L5, and L1.
Okay. You even went a step further.
Or no, excuse me. One for each in L2, L4, and 5, and then one telescope as a spare in case any one of them failed.
Okay. I like his thinking. Yep. Okay.
But it doesn't really offer any reasonings to why. I mean, maybe it was just limited funding. They only had the ability to get the one together. I don't know. That's a really good question, though.
Especially when it's so far away. And if anything does go wrong, that catastrophic, then it's boom.
It's Eugene Mayaya, whose profile says former representative of the U.S. government at NASA from 1982 to 2012. His reply is, "Who says that a second one would cost a fraction? because the Webb didn't have the economies of scale that earlier segmented telescopes like the Keck had. You have to have more than just the telescope and launch vehicle. Serious communications resources also tend to be needed. Also, far fewer astronomers do IR astronomy compared to other, mostly optical types. I have no doubt that IR astronomers, infrared astronomers, would love a second Webb class telescope, but I doubt they would want to push their luck. So, resources are an actual thing, even though it would make sense to.
Okay.
Let's see. What if the James Webb Telescope fails? How long would it take to build a duplicate, and what will the cost be? Significantly less than the original one. Making alone is not the main problem, but sending it to the L2 point and maintaining it in location, operating it for 5 or more years, etc., also costs too much. So, we're looking at some of the detail stuff that folks normally wouldn't look at.
Okay.
That's, but here's the thing: is people are asking the same questions you are, so that's good.
That's good. All right, that's not just me. I was like it when it's not just me with stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's like George Carlin used to say, "These are the things I think about when I'm home alone and the television's broken."
Yeah, but okay, it's just one of those things. Maybe the demand isn't high enough then that would have justified it.
Mm-hmm.
There is demand, but it's not that high to justify it or something. Yeah, but I'd rather us get to the moon again or get to Mars or whatever. If the split resources.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do
something different. We need to get.
And I think we need, as a people, we need to be moving forward again. We need to be building great big things and solving huge problems that we can all look at and see the results of.
And get that warp drive working so we can do that first jump and have the Vulcans come and visit us.
There you go. See?
That has to happen.
2061, man. We could be alive for the Vulcans arriving. God willing.
We got about 40 years. So.
God willing, we'll be 91 years old in 2061, but God willing, we'll be here to see it.
We can do it. Okay. It's like the Back to the Future thing. Okay, that didn't happen then, but this is going to happen.
Yeah.
20. Oh, God.
So you gonna come over Saturday afternoon?
I'm gonna try. Yep.
Okay.
We'll see what happens over the next few days here, but I'm planning on it, and we can get going in our other
projects.
Our TikToking.
Yes.
Be afraid. Be very afraid. And have fun.
Yeah, you go. It's scary in there. Take this. I'm going to hold up Juno. Here.
So, yep. So I guess a good place to leave it here.
Yeah, we did our usual trumping all over different things.
But yeah, I'm hoping the space travel. People have a lot of bad things to say about these, the space tourists here. But I'm hoping that the good that comes out of it is that there's more interest in space travel and more. Not just touching orbit, but more deeper space or staying in space longer and more real, what I consider more real space travel, actually spending time in space.
Right.
It's great that they're getting better ways to get up there, but I want them to stay up there and do more stuff up there.
As much as I think Elon Musk is one of the consummate assholes on the planet, he really has inspired something, and he is making something happen. And so I respect the progress that he has made and the feats that his company has achieved. So I may not like the guy as a person, but you know what? I can't deny that he's done some amazing stuff.
And why the heck did Bezos design a ship like that?
I don't know. He keeps launching a freaking dildo into space every few months. What the hell?
Why did he do that?
I don't know.
He made his own joke about himself.
Yeah.
Did he not look at the shape of this thing when they did that? I'm sorry. It's just, oh my gosh. Anyway,
yeah,
it's just crazy. But I'm glad they're going. I'm glad that they're at least
things are happening.
Spending some of their ridiculously large fortunes on this stuff.
If
at least they're putting like some of it to good use, and I hope it gets bigger from here, not just become spend your $250,000 to touch space. I want to see more. I want to see more of a isn't there a commercial trip to the? I saw something about, I don't know if it was real, but having a like basically a movie studio attached to the space station.
There's talk, but I don't hear anything definitively actually being planned at the moment.
Because they said that something about Tom Cruise filming a movie up there.
Yeah, Tom Cruise wants to take one of the Mission Impossible movies up to space.
And that would be awesome if that happens. I think
Yes.
that would be a very...
If anybody could do it, it would be Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Most assuredly, the only person who could probably pull that kind of a thing off would be him.
So I didn't know if it was real because I only saw like one thing on it. I didn't really look into it, but I'm like, huh? If that's real, that's again, that's the kind of thing I'm hoping I'd be excited to see more of, just more things happening, and more attention there, so we can, there's more innovation happening in that area too, and then our warp drive, 2061, that time's ticking away. We need that warp drive.
We need it. We need it now. Come on, let's go. Let's go. I will rename. I'm almost as tall as James, the gentleman who played Cochrane in the Star Trek movie.
Yep.
Right. So I will change my name to Zephram Cochrane. Somebody help me out here. Let's make this work.
Let's do it. Okay. All right. On that happy note.
On that happy and pious note, I will talk to you really soon, my brother.
Definitely.
You have a good one out there, man.
You too. Bye.
Yeah.